Boy Sadler, Knees by Chris Sadler. How you diddling, old partners? The Boy Sadler here in Little Jifflin, the Martha's Vineyard of North Norfolk. Or is that Jake's scrapyard? Who knows? Anyway, how are you? I had a funny week this week. Tweaked my knee. Now I say tweaked, but what I actually mean is catastrophically, painfully discombobulated it. I could barely walk. The pain was phenomenal. Funny thing is, I don't know how I did it. My missus, Dangerous, she says it was when I swung a slippered foot at Munch the cat and missed the other day, after she weed on my iPad. That's Munch, not Dangerous. But I said, I just slipped, and she said, not with that rude word you said afterwards. And I said, that was just another slip of the tongue. She looked at me in that funny way and said, does your knee hurt? And I said, yes. And she said, well, you probably deserve it, you grumpy old scrope. I didn't say anything after that because, well, she's probably right. Anyway, the cat's all right, but my knee isn't. Dangerous made me apologise to Munch and give her a snack. It was a 5 dreamies offence, apparently. Then she had a quick, some might say cursory, look round my knee. I lifted up the left leg of my indoor leisure pants. She had a brief peer at it, pursed her lips, sucked her teeth in like Eric does at the garage in the village. She prodded it gently, then increasingly vigorously, until, well, I screamed. What's up, she said. Throbbing patella, I shouted. There's no need for language like that, she said. You duffer, there's nothing wrong with it. Put some frozen peas on it, take an ibuprofen, and you'll be right as rain. So I don't need to ring Dignitas, I said. No, she said, they're engaged. Thank you, I said. She's a lovely woman, is Dangerous. Always thinking of me. And that life insurance policy in the loft. I know having a dodgy knee sounds like an old person thing, but it isn't really. It could happen to anyone. I'm not that old. Obviously I remember the clangers. First time round even. But I still got most of my hair in my teeth. I can remember where I live. They're all good things, right? I'm not old. I've got an iPad. It's a bit damp, but I got one. Anyway, so I was off work for a few days, hobbling around like Dangerous towers like a zombie in need of a wee, dealing with the ordeal like most men would, that is groaning in pain and whining pitifully at my unbelievable bad fortune, and Dangerous dealt with it like any normal woman, that is by rolling her eyes and ignoring me, the love of her life. I say love of her life, after Tom Hardy that is. I bet he'd be complaining this situation too if it had happened to him. He'd have never got back up on that diving board for a start. That's the wrong tum, you duffer, she said, although she added she wouldn't flinch at seeing his tucked pike with a double twist if push came to shove. Actually, out of the goodness of my heart last Christmas, I bought Dangerous a Tom Hardy calendar. As she unwrapped it, I said, you fancy him, don't you? She stared at it for a while, about 45 minutes, before replying. No, not really, she said, licking her lips with her eyes all glazed. I had to go and get a cloth to wipe off the dribble stains. Thank goodness for laminated calendars is all I'll say. Anyway, back to the main issue, my knee. After a day or two of wearing one right sock and one slipper, because I couldn't get the left one on without having a massive spasm, I think that's what Dangerous said, and having a treat climbing the stairs like an assault on the north face of the Matterhorn, and using the convenience became far from convenient, it was then I decided to approach the problem logically, and gave up. Any chance of a cuppa, Dangerous, I said, between pathetic moans. Yes, she said, turning up Bargain Hunt, before continuing. 2 sugars for me, please. Thanks. Ciao altogether.